welcome to my presentation. My name is Ray Shalori. I'll be introducing myself a little bit shortly, but I'd just like to start off by saying a big thank you to the conference organizers for giving us the chance to speak to our fantastic science teachers throughout New Zealand. I myself teach science and digital technology at an after-school learning center. And before that, I was a researcher at the University of Auckland, but have since decided to go into teaching. And also, I'm working on these projects with a self-made company. And the project that I want to share with you today is about these UV sensors that I've developed and shared with students to help with their learning in science and also digital technology, and eventually and later on with maths as well. It's a very cross-curricular project, but I'll just give you a brief history into how I got into this project. While I was a researcher at the University of Auckland, we did do some outreach science programs, going out to schools, helping teachers with their confidence, showing them some whiz-bang type experiments. These were quite young students, year 3s and 4s, but my supervisor on the ride home would always tell me that if there was only a way to teach science at a more deeper level, in a more engaging and also fun and relevant way, that would be something valuable. And that's something I've always kept in my mind until the start of 2019, just last year, seems like a while ago. But I started a company, well, that's known as Spinoza, and our flagship product is a build your own UV sensor. So let's get right into talking about that. It's contained in this box here, which I have in front of me as well. So no tricks, no games, it is here as well. And let's have a look what's in the box. That is the UV sensor there. Now, what you see there, it's fully assembled there, but it is assembled by students. They learn about each of the components and how they get connected together in order to make a device like you see there. That's what it looks like when it sits in the box. So the box is a storage device as well. There's no need to throw the box away. That's how the device fits in there, just for long-term storage or traveling as well. I do tell students that these aren't toys. They're essentially scientific instruments, so they should be treated like you would a telescope or a microscope. But the students receive the device like this. This is what the unassembled device looks like. So all the components are cleverly tucked away, and they use the corrugated parts of the cardboard there, different sections of the box, to hold everything in place without any waste as well. So this box, I'm quite proud of it. It's designed to have zero waste. So that's good if students are learning about sustainability and things like that, minimizing waste. Well, when you buy this product, there's no tiny little plastic components or small little unnecessary bags. Everything gets stored, and it's quite firmly stored as well, thanks to this design here. So what happens is I do have a set of tutorial videos, which the teachers go through with the students after I go through training with the teachers. And they're able to assemble the UV sensor that we saw on the previous slide. Oh, I need to zoom out and then press. So they assemble that. It also fits in the box as well. So no need to throw anything away. But it's not as simple as just, 2 seconds and it's assembled. You do have to go through a series of videos, but the whole process should take between 30 to 40 minutes, and they do go over each step here, and things are cleverly named, like these rainbow wires here. That's one of the first things you need to work with. Underneath is an Arduino Mini, which is a very small computer that can be programmed to do many things. In this case, it's programmed to do UV sensing, But if you have an advanced coding course at your school, then we can also go over how that was coded to be able to do UV sensing. And there is a display there, some wires at the top that complete circuits. And it's not a battery powered device, it's 100% solar. There's a solar panel there. It gets connected, these components, a buzzer over here, and that's the actual UV sensor chip, that one there. We'll talk a bit more about what's going on in there. And these casing pieces that were made from laser cut acrylic. So if you also have a laser cutter in your school, I would be happy to share files. We can customize those, the engraving on those files to include things like students' names or your school's logo, things like that. This is the device out in the sun. You can see there, it says UV index 1.2 and telling us that the level is low. The device does show it a bit brighter than that. That's as well as this camera could capture that information, but we will cut to a video where you'll be able to see the device in a bit more detail there. But this is a very nice project that is quite cross-curricular, combining the physics of light, especially light that we can't see beyond the violet, the higher energy forms of light, ultraviolet, because we can't see it. We need to build a scientific instrument in order to detect those forms of light. And that's what I feel is missing from a lot of science education, especially in the earlier years. The concept of instrumentation, it's so vital for scientific research, but it's pretty much non-existent in earlier teaching, except for microscopes and telescopes. Obviously, students learn about those instruments, but there are thousands of others, like spectrometers, ellipsometers, all sorts of refractometers. But I understand why they wouldn't be taught at a younger age, because such instruments are incredibly expensive and quite technical. While the solutions that I hope to bring in the future with other products as well is to create scientific instruments that are much more affordable and not completely lacking in technicality. There's still some technical understanding that's required, but that's part of the learning experience as well. And being able to get students to be measuring their own data, collecting evidence, graphing data, sharing that information, I think will provide a much more fulfilling and engaging idea as to what science is. It's quite an interesting time to be a scientist with these quite minor anti-science groups. But when I was growing up, science was quite a noble profession. I still think it is. But these thoughts around science being a bad word, my goodness, there is a failure of communication there. And I want to help teachers. I'm sure teachers are doing a fantastic job already, and we can push that forward with these devices here as instruments. All right, I think what we'll do now is we'll cut to a video which describes this device in action, and also another feature that this device has. I won't spoil, but you'll be able to see it in the video. Catch you on the other side. This is how the device works in action. It's solar powered, and it tells you the UV index. And it also gives you some advice based on how high the UV levels are. So right now it's quite early in the morning, so the UV levels aren't that high. But the way it works is there's a solar panel on this side, and that's the actual UV sensor there. So the students learn how to build this device with my instruction or a trained teacher's instruction. And yeah, then they get to keep it and show their parents, show their friends, learn more about technology and science, and also keep safe in the summertime, especially in New Zealand. The UV levels of the sun can get quite intense. But another feature that this device has that I integrated into it is it's able to measure the SPF value of sunscreen.
So you can see here it says SPF 50. The way it does that is this piece on the device actually can come off, you see? And if you look closely, there's a piece of quartz glass there. Now, quartz glass is very special because it's UV transparent. The usual glass on windows and cars and things like that, that glass absorbs UV light. So the reason why we want it to be UV transparent is the method for measuring SPF that we use. You take some of the sunscreen, just dab a bit on your finger, and then spread it over that UV transparent glass. And then when you place it over here, if it fits on nicely, you can see that the glass blocks that white box on the UV sensor chip. That chip there is where the actual UV measurement happens. There's a filament in there that passes an electrical current that's sensitive to the amount of UV light it receives. So when you place that glass over the top of it with the sunscreen on top of the glass, you actually get an attenuation of UV light, and the microprocessor in there, it's smart enough to know what the UV light was before and after you place that glass, and so it can do some calculations and give you an estimate of the SPF values.
All right, welcome back. So that video we just saw was from a meeting that I had earlier this year with Jess Bond from Core Education, where we talked about the progress of this project. It didn't start out looking as nice and fancy as it does today. It was quite crude in the past, but over time it has been improved, just like a scientific experiment, getting improved over time with valuable feedback that I've received from students and teachers. And I'm still open to more feedback, how we can improve this project, getting it out to more teachers and students. Anyway, I think I'll be wrapping up this presentation. So if you do have any questions or you'd like to meet with me either online, if you're in the Auckland region, we could meet in person, discuss how we could use these in teaching plans going into 2021. Let me know. I'll provide those details shortly. Otherwise, everyone take care of yourselves, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of the conference. That's it from me. See you next time. Bye-bye.